Prince of the Greats among goalkeepers reaches a monumental milestone today as he equals Bobby Moore's record of 108 England caps. And depending partly on the result this afternoon, he could go on to challenge Pat Jennings' world record of 119 internationals if Shilton and England go to Italy. For England, number 5 Des Walker and number 9 Peter Beardsley were both past fit this morning, and Bobby Robson has gone for 2 orthodox wingers. Chris Waddle and John Barnes both start the match. David Rocastle is on the substitutes bench, along with Paul Gascoigne and Alan Smith. Poland have 2 strikers who play in West Germany, number 9 Jan Furtok from Hamburg, number 11 Marek Leszniak from Bayer Leverkusen. But number 10 Marek Wasika, who tends to play a bit deeper, is the top scorer in Polish football this season with 18 goals for his club Ruch Chorzów. So Poland in red, as they were back in 1973. They're trying this afternoon to emulate their famous predecessors here. England in white, knowing that a win is essential today. Webb on the ball now to Waddle to set us firmly on the road to the World Cup finals. And there's an early mistake by the left back, Budovchik, number 4. Turned the ball out for a corner. Waddle short to Beardsley. Lineker's in the middle. Butcher's up as well. And we do need a strong start here. Bobby Robson picking the wide players, mindful of the fact that in Monterrey it was from wide positions that England got the crosses in for Lineker's hat-trick against Poland. That was Webb. This is Butcher. Now it's Barnes inside. Robson. And number 2, Vias for Poland. Oh, straight to Chris Waddle. And the shot blocked by Vias. Here's Stevens. Waddle to Beardsley. And Barnes already roaming. With effect. Oh, brought down on the edge. Well, Barnes cutting a dangerous path through the Polish defence, brought down by Vias, number 2. Butcher starts to make a run across, gets waved back. And that's in by Beardsley. The block was by Furtok. John Barnes in the inside right position when he was brought down. Beardsley with the corner. Butcher moves away. And then gets a touch. Hooked away by Maticic for Poland. And play compressed in the Polish half. Pierce's pass. Header was by Wojcicki. And here's Beardsley. And Lineker's in a good position. And the defender did awfully well to get a foot in. Bacco was able to get there first because Vias just got his foot there ahead of Lineker. And it was a good England move, this, because he had the space and he was onside as he latched on, or didn't quite reach the pass because Vias got there first. Furtok, a good touch, and this is dangerous. The spare player was Vias, and Furtok away on the right. And he's got Leszniak in the middle, and they're coming up from midfield in numbers. Well, there was a pertinent reminder there of what Poland can be like on the break. But Shilton has got Waddle away. Robson's just inside him. Waddle goes again. Maticic. Oh, Lineker! And Waddle! And Bacco saved it. It's Lineker again. Can Webb get there? He can. Well, possibilities there at either end. England escaped when Furtok broke for Poland, but then straight away Waddle got them moving and Lineker intercepted the back pass from Maticic. Number 4 on the left flank of the defence is Budovchik, and this is Urban, the left-sided midfield player wearing number 8. Comes from Gornik. the defending champions and league leaders in Poland. Bias. Urban. Now, Beardsley, it's a good tackle by Robson, and Lineker's away, and Lineker's onside, and this is going to be a free kick and a booking for sure. And the yellow card comes out, and Bacco, the goalkeeper, denies England the opening goal in this World Cup tie with a cynical challenge on Gary Lineker. Robson won it for Beardsley, and Lineker was just onside, and he was through and away. Took the goalkeeper on, and just look at that.
Well, there's no question when you get an incident like that, it's so stopped a certain goal that the goalkeeper should be going off for an early shout. There's no question that it cost England a goal. Gary Lineker had wrong-footed him, he was past him, he had an open goal. There was 100% certainty that the ball was going to end up in the net. And here we have a free kick on the edge of the area, which is sort of a 50-50 opportunity.
Beardsley. Well, I'm afraid no justice there really for England. Well, memories of 1973, and no one will feel that more keenly than Sir Alf Ramsey sitting at the back there. It was that draw here which robbed England of a place in the '74 World Cup finals and ultimately cost him his job. Leszniak. Opening here, perhaps. It was Urban's shot, and Pearce who scrambled it away from Vashika. So a corner to Poland, and they'll send both their centre-backs forward, Wojcicki and Łukasik, 3 and 5 respectively. And Leszniak heads it back, and that was a real chance for Urban. Peter Shilton entitled to shout at the players in front of him. What they were allowing doing Leszniak, giving Leszniak so much room on this side, I've no idea. He had so much room to head that back in. And it's Jan Urban who comes in for the second header, and Trevor Brooking, he might well have scored.
Well, it's the same old tale. Leszniak, one of the smaller forwards. You worry about the big men, and there he was coming up late, but it was the first header by little Leszniak, who nobody had picked up, left him completely unmarked.
Here's Barnes. And Lineker, surely! It's in! England have taken the lead. And the scourge of Poland in Monterrey, Gary Lineker, brings smiles to English faces again. John Barnes with the pass. Lineker into the goalkeeper first time. And then from a tight angle, right foot, that's over the line as Brian Robson dives in. And England have taken the lead. Just when we really needed it. England coach Don Howe. Lineker, good touch to Waddle. Webb. Lineker again. I think it's now safe to say that the sharpness has returned after that debilitating illness of Gary Lineker's that affected him not just in the European Championships, but for much of this season as well. But how he enjoys playing in the centre rather than on the right wing, where Johan Cruyff has kept him for much of the season for Barcelona. He's thriving on this service. Bobby Robson down on the bench as we approach half-time. That was Vashika to Maticic. Vashika again, number 10. It's good play on Prusik, and a brilliant header by Walker. This is Leszniak. It's not over yet, the danger. It is now, but right on half-time, Des Walker saves Bobby Robson's team with a header which may yet prove priceless. And Vashika got round the outside. It was Prusik with his header and Walker got that away. Well, they'll argue about whether this was going in or not. This angle may be a clearer indication. Well, certainly it was too close for England's comfort. Des Walker showing that the neck injury really has healed. Stevens. Barnes. Lineker. Oh, good play. Pearce. Four waiting for a cross here for England. In time added on for stoppages at the end of the first half. Good ball. Walker again. Wojcicki coming out of defence set that up. And tried to get Furtop through again on the right. Half-time, and Bobby Robson's team have played well going forward, but would be unwise to take anything for granted at this stage, because Poland, a goal behind to Gary Lineker's effort in the 24th minute, have had their moments, although their attacks have been few and far between, and England, pleased to be 1-0 in front, still have plenty of work to do. Luigi Anolin from Italy, the referee, gets the second half started with news of the official attendance at Wembley, 69,203. Pretty good turnout for the first weekend in June. Cool conditions that suit the England players. Lineker gets back to beat Maticic. He's got through a terrific amount of work, Gary Lineker. Stevens. Beardsley. Waddle. Lineker's off again inside the box. He's nearly there. He is there! Side netting. It was nearly. But he's looking sharper than I've seen him, Trevor Brooking, since before the European Championships.
A magnificent pass by Chris Waddle there, but it was really the run. Look, he's got away from the marker and the sweeper, and really very, very unlucky that it caught the side netting, but a great run again. He's such a good target.
Stevens, as the crowd get behind England. At full stretch there, Wojcicki. That is a free kick, and it's against Terry Butcher, who's angry. Well, it's a World Cup tie which to many people is so vital, and yet it's England's match for much of the time, but the Poles still threatening when they get the chance to catch England a man short here and there. So heavily of England press forward. This is Vodovchik. Diaz, Maticic. And Leshniak. And Urban. Well, that's two chances for Jan Urban. This is a corner, it was deflected. Des Walker again making a vital interception. And Jan Urban, who had that header over the bar in the first half, Walker definitely threw himself in. Kosecki. Nice turn. And he's got three others up with him. Now, can John Barnes make something of this? The Poles themselves now having to get back hurriedly. Well, they're only Beardsley and Lineker up there so far. He's waiting for the other midfield players. And eventually he finds Waddle on the other wing. And still Waddle. Good effort. From Chris Waddle. Well, the Polish goalkeeper has shown that even if he's not performing the heroics of Tomaszewski, he's still pretty useful. Corner to England. Who comes to meet that too? Barnes. Waddle. Butcher's stayed forward. Barnes again. Waddle again. It's a poor kick by the keeper. This is Stevens. And that's all. That's equally poor. Halfway through the second half. And England will need to deliver the ball better than that if this second goal is going to arrive. Webb. Maticic staying close again to Beardsley. Prushik equally close to Robson. Poles still very orderly, very athletic offside against Furtok. And we certainly can't relax against them, can we?
England at the moment certainly just lost that fluidness that they had going forward. And I think really is the midfield area where Poland are sort of just ganged up that little bit, and England's back four really only just picking one up at the time. If the two fullbacks, Gary Stevens and Stuart Pearce, could really move in and pick up the wide people, it would help Brian Robson and Neil Webb, who seem sort of undermanned at the moment.
This is Waddle. Lineker, that's a good touch. Stevens now, can he get a quality cross in? He can. Barnes! Yes! That's the goal we wanted! And it's the goal that might lead the victory here. The Poles down and deflated, and England celebrate. Gary Stevens here made up for any earlier crosses that didn't go his way. It was a beautiful ball, and Barnes at the far post to finish it off. 2-0 to England, and you can feel the sense of relief and release all the way around the stadium. The Poles will make their second substitution now. Chris Waddle into Gary Lineker. What a glorious build-up this was. Stevens brought into play. Superb cross. Great finish. This is Webb. Barnes. Rocastle. And still took two to stop him. And here's Lineker, a terrible back pass. Rocastle, Smith, no, Webb, 3. And Poland commits suicide in defence. And England's World Cup hopes very much alive now. Sir Alf Ramsey applauds the goal. And Neil Webb, as the goalkeeper holds his head in dismay, makes it 3-0 to England. An easy goal for Webb, but a dreadful mistake here by Wojcicki, the number 3. He presented that to Gary Lineker. Rocastle across the goal. Smith couldn't get it, but Neil Webb certainly could. Here's Taracevic. Maticic. So, still Poland attack. This is Furtok. Oh, it's a good turn by Furtok, and it needed Des Walker again. The number of timely clearances he's made may not be reflected by the score in the match, but Peter Shilton will be grateful because Furtok has never stopped nagging away there. It's a corner to Poland. Wojcicki has gone forward to try and make amends for his awful mistake. Here's Vodovcic. Well, Furtok turning well enough. Des Walker, I think, held him off a bit there for a moment, but certainly got the clearance in. Well, in discussing the individual performances here today, I'm sure that as Barnes turns on the ball now, Gary Lineker will be well mentioned by just about everybody. He's let that one run to Webb. Good effort. Well, he's also played a major part, Neil Webb. If you're looking for successes. This is Wasica. And now it's Kosecki. taking the ball out there. If we're looking for successes, Trevor Brooking, I would have thought Gary Lineker and Des Walker would have caught your eye today.
Those two, as much as anyone, I think, have been very influential. Here we just see Neil Webb, who also has had an excellent game, well held by the keeper Bacco. But Des Walker at the back, his pace, I mean, he's settled in alongside Terry Butcher very well, and his pace has just rescued the side on occasions, and he is definitely settling in alongside Terry. Is really a very formidable partnership. In midfield, I think Neil Webb and Brian Robson have played very well, because with two wide men, Barnes and Waddle, they've had to do that bit of extra work, but they've coped admirably and also supported the attack on occasions. And then up front, Gary Lineker, who's running off the ball apart from his opening goal, and then selfish players also, of course, for the third goal as well, has been outstanding.
And we're into the last 2 minutes now of this World Cup qualifying tie at Wembley. England lead Poland by 3-0. And what a good platform that would be for Bobby Robson to carry into the autumn, when we have away matches in Sweden and the return in Poland. Important psychological victory for England, as well as in terms of the group position. Alan Smith. And Wojciech Wazarek knows the game is up now. We're entering the final minute. This is Kosecki. Barnes. And now Webb, and the break is on. Lineker's in the middle, Rocastle's out on the right. Rocastle's cross, Lineker brought it down well. Smith, Robson's in there too. Oh, unlucky. Well, what a nice finish that would have been for the captain and for England. Brian Robson still with the energy to get in where it hurts, and his namesake would appreciate that. So late in the game, and he was unlucky, Trevor.
Well brought down, Gary Lineker. Alan Smith playing it square, just pops up, hooks it, and it just drifts over the crossbar. But the one occasion really where Brian Robson, probably 3-0, has felt happy just to make those late runs into the penalty box.
So there it is. England end the season on a high note with 2 valuable World Cup points in the qualifying group. Brian Robson leads his team to a most important victory. 3-0, also good for the goal difference, but more important perhaps, the ideal background from which to go to the 2 important away matches in September and October, and nobody played better than Gary Lineker. Back to his sharpest, scored 1, made 1, and with the other wide player, Chris Waddle, justified the team selection of Bobby Robson, as indeed did all departments of the England team. And how nice to see him and the players leaving Wembley to a standing ovation from a crowd of 70,000.